All right, Tuesday morning in New York City. What is up? Built Ford Tub Studio. It is the Boomer and Gio program. The guys are off. Matter of fact, they're off the rest of the week. It is July 4th week. Maybe you are as well. So instead, you get myself. You get Al Dukes. Eddie, he's somewhere in Pennsylvania on a Caribbean vacation. We've got Fliegelman in for Al. So we got a whole bunch of good things going. Rascona, what is up? And, you know, yesterday, I guess it was either, I was on the podcast. I didn't do that yesterday. Maybe it was the warm-up show, Al. We sat there and talked about losing streaks, and we said, where does the good feelings go for this Mets team? Your Metsies bounced back in a big way last night. What's up, man?
Oh, hi, Jerry. Yes, the Mets did get a win, but it was, what goes on there in the ninth, 10th
Well, it's a bit
innings
of a mess.
is a bit of a mess.
Bit of a mess.
People are very upset with the Mets, the bullpen, Jerry. They want people to come in. I don't know who they're getting. I don't know. I don't know what the story is, but the Mets won, and that's all that counts.
Yeah, it's July. We turned the page to July 1st. The Mets snapped a little two-game slide, if you will. A couple things from this game that I thought were very interesting because you started with the bullpen, which is the proper place to go, obviously.
I sure did.
Because they're not going to win a damn thing if they can't figure out the bullpen and find some more arms to come in and figure this thing out. But the kid that goes in there, the Tyler J., I don't know how much of this you saw. Number one,
I watched the highlight package.
Okay, fair enough. So number one, he's throwing 95. It's not like he doesn't have anything. Curveball's okay. Number one, he's 2-0 on every batter. That's the first problem. But beyond that, listening to Gary and Keith as they're calling the game, so he's a 30-year-old rookie. He was drafted in the first round by the Twins a long time ago. He's had all sorts of arm problems and surgeries and all that. And at one point, they basically say, this is a kid who as recently as last year was pitching, I wrote this down, was pitching for the Juliet Jackhammers.
He's 30?
He's 30, yes.
Man, he is not giving up the dream.
No, he's not. And he's in the show right now. He's in the big leagues, which is cool. But that's where this team is. And that's the problem in terms of, needing to make a move before the bullpen kills their season the way it had earlier in the year. We talked about how bad they were. They fall 11 games under 500. And so many of those games were because the bullpen was bad, because Diaz, before we think figured it out, was giving away games. Last night was another example. You put up, 6 runs in the top of the 10th inning. You've got to think that that's a cakewalk, and you've got your first game. Meantime, you've got the tying runs on base and the winning run at the plate, and I know they wound up closing it out, but, I mean, now, here's the positive news for them. They're hitting the baseball. They took advantage of opportunity in the 6th inning because Washington had that 3-0 lead. And if it's not for the kid at shortstop, Abrams has the ball going through his legs, maybe they don't win this game. Maybe they lose the game 2-0. I don't know. Or 2-1, I guess it would have been at that point. But J.D. Martinez was in a funk. We talked about him yesterday because of Sunday, where he gave you nothing when you had the winning run at second base. He snaps the 0-for-12 with the home run. And your guy, Francisco Alvarez, how about a triple for the big fella?
Very difficult to get, Jerry. Yeah, I was looking at the rundown, right? So the Mets go up 6-3 with the J.D. Martinez homer. Alvarez has the triple at 7-3. Jose Iglesias hits his first home run as a Met. It's 9-3, Jerry. And then it ends up 9-7.
Yes, with the winning run at the plate. It did, but you know what? It's a win.
When do you give up on the MLB dream, you think? You're 30 years old. Like, if this guy gets sent down again quickly, what are we doing?
Well, I would say
have to figure it out.
If you're being shuffled back and forth between the big leagues and AAA,
yeah,
you're still making a pretty good living.
Like what?
I don't know what AAA players make. Fliegelman, can you Google for me AAA salaries? I'm going to say 6 figures.
Oh, really?
I would think
I thought these guys made like $30,000 a year and were like traveling in buses and sleeping in Motel 6s.
Single A, double A. Yeah, I would think AAA players, I would think, make 6 figures.
I wouldn't give up that dream then.
No. I mean, go as long as you can, especially if you have an opportunity to latch onto a team that needs some help. What do you got?
Minimum annual salary this year, $35,800.
Wow. Damn.
Oh, so that's low.
That's low.
Like, what's a guy, if I go to see the Somerset Patriots, what's a guy there making?
That's independent. Well, no, it's not
he's Yankees
It used
now.
to be. Well, that's what he's saying. So that's
that's the minimum,
A.
though. So there are probably guys who have been around for longer. They may be making a little bit more, but if the minimum is $35,800, can't be topping out at more than 6 figures.
So do me a favor. So check out Tyler J's contract status, if you can, because he's I didn't know who he was, honestly.
Tyler J?
No, I had no idea who he was before last night. And then it's kind of like Matt Festa on Sunday. Like, where'd this guy come from? And this is what they're rolling out there every day.
$377,900.
Okay, so
nice. Oh, that's pretty good.
Now you're not doing so bad, are you?
Yeah, no, that's
He at
not
one
bad.
point signed a 1-year, almost $4 million deal with the Twins.
With the Twins. Well, he was the first-round draft pick. So that makes sense to me at some point that he got a relatively big deal. So he's made money, and he's still making decent money. And I'm not, watching him last night, if he wasn't falling behind hitters, he did record a couple of outs. But you can't keep falling behind major league hitters 2-0, 3-1, and that was kind of the situation he put himself in. But it is, I look at this Met team, as we've talked about so many times, as a 500 team. I really believe that, and you see the faults that they do have. You also see, and you've seen it for the last 5 weeks or 4 weeks, I guess, they can hit when they actually get going. When J.D. Martinez is in the middle of that order doing what he did last night, and I tell you another guy who I know he's probably batting, I would say 220, but Tyrone Taylor, who Weil almost had the big gaffe of the night with that misplay in right field that somehow they scored a double, whatever. I'm not even sure if they corrected it to a single and a run scored. Makes the great catch in right field that saved the game in I think it was the 9th inning. But he also has had some key hits for this team, too. So you have seen the group, Lindor in the leadoff spot. I think his average is up to 250. You've seen so many of the guys kind of come alive in the month of June. And if they can keep it rolling with these games against bad teams, you've got Washington and then Pittsburgh. If they could have themselves a good week, you're looking at a team that could roll into the All-Star break a few games over 500, which who would have thought that 5 weeks ago?
Not me, Jerry. I did check the Mets Twitter. It is July 2nd. They are no longer the Pride logo colors.
It's back to normal, right?
Back to their regular Met logo.
Although Grimace was in Washington again last night.
And they do have on the official Mets Twitter the Grimace effect as their
Even when you lose two
statement.
games like you did on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah,
huh?
there's still Grimace, Jerry, because the Grimace was out there yesterday celebrating the home run last night.
He was.
Spinning around. This Brandon Nimmo thing sounds a little fishy to me.
Why?
We did a segment one time on the warm-up show called Fishy or Not Fishy.
I remember.
Where I
Yes.
presented you something, and you tell me if that sounds fishy or not.
Yes.
So Brandon Nimmo faints in his hotel room,
Mm-hmm.
cracks his head open.
Yep.
Sounds fishy.
That
guy's an athlete.
I suppose, but if he's dehydrated or if he's got a condition that he was unaware of.
So he says he woke up not feeling well at 5:15, goes into the bathroom, cramps up and faints, wakes up bleeding from the head.
I'll tell you this about during the Boomer and Gio program. You remember back in the day with Boomer and Carton? You remember I said I tripped over my cat and sprained my ankle? You remember that?
Yes.
Okay. That is not what happened. But I didn't want to get into, all kidding aside, it was a kickboxing kick, and I really hurt myself. But I felt like an old man at that point. I was not going to get involved in.
Oh, I would have much rather said I was
No,
kickboxing than fell over my cat.
No, I wasn't. Because anytime that stuff came up, they had too much fun with it. So I wasn't going to. So I remember I had that severely sprained ankle. So I woke up one night in the middle of the night, of course, had to go to the bathroom. And I blacked out from the pain. I took a step and blacked out from the pain. I did not hit my head, but woke up. Kim basically was picking me up. It happens. I mean, if he was sick and didn't feel well and got lightheaded and fainted, it does happen. I can understand your skepticism, but it doesn't shock me.
So these guys they don't have roommates on the road, I guess.
I would hope not. It's not high school.
Right, but what if he didn't awaken?
Well, someone would have found him passed out in his hotel
Right,
room.
but he would have not showed up to the ballpark.
Correct.
Like, where's Brandon Nimmo?
And they would have gone and looked for him.
He's bleeding from the forehead in his hotel. I think about that with me sometimes, Jerry.
Living alone?
Yeah, like what if I fall down, faint,
I will tell
and hit
you,
my head?
If there was a morning that we came in and it got to 4:45,
Yeah.
we'd be concerned.
You would call who?
Well, you first.
Oh.
And
Well,
then
I can't pick up phones, Jerry. I'm bleeding from the forehead on my bathroom floor.
You're right. So let's just say you're not here at 4:45, and I'm trying to reach you, and Eddie's trying to reach you. What we would do, I don't know, but we would clearly assume there's an issue.
You'd call Bradley Beach Police and ask
I
for a
guess so.
welfare check.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, you're right. That's
I
what
think
we have
about
to
that sometimes when I'm cutting sweet potatoes for my dinner at night. And, it's a big knife. And sometimes a potato, Jerry, is very tough to get through. What do finger goes. I
do.
can't.
Call 911 with
Oh,
your other hand. You have two of them, don't you?
I do have two hands.
Okay, so call 911.
So with the other, while the other one's bleeding out.
Yeah.
What if I get weak from seeing the blood and faint?
Well, the first thing you got to do is so you see this scar I have right here on my wrist? So my hand went through a glass door when I was 17 or 18, I forget. And blood, to be honest with you, the fact that I didn't die from the loss of blood was amazing. The way the blood was squirting out. I was able to call 911 relatively quickly, but I also wrapped my arm and held it as tight as I could.
You made a tourniquet.
With my hand. I would think if I were you, you'd try and stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
But you're right. You live alone. And we would be very concerned if you. There was a morning, I would say there was a morning about a month or two ago, or right before the live show. Remember we had those meetings? There was a Wednesday morning. You weren't here at 4:30, and I was calling you or I texted you or something.
Yes.
Like, are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we have had welfare checks on you.
And what's bad, too, nowadays everyone has a cell phone instead of like a house phone, which when we turn our cell phones off at night or like shut the ringer off, no way to reach us.
Especially you, because you do turn it off
Yeah.
aside from your parents, right?
Yeah.
So we couldn't reach you even if we wanted to.
You could not reach me, Jerry.
Might want to rethink that.
Yes.
Or get a house phone again.
A hardwired phone?
Let me ask you this. Could you right now tell me what I'm not going to say your parents, your sister's cell phone number is?
No.
Could you tell me what Gina's cell phone number is?
I do. I know.
You do know that one.
I know Gina's cell phone number because I use it when you go into a store and they go, "Oh, do you have you go to CVS or ShopRite?" And
you punch in the number.
I punch in her number, so now I know that's my one emergency contact. Unfortunately, she doesn't pick up when I call her. She's her phone shut off.
I wonder why.
I'll be like, "Hello, I'm bleeding out. I'm cutting sweet potatoes up.
That's where you got to call us.
Chop my finger off."
You got me or Eddie. We're within a half hour of
Eddie never picks up a phone either.
Fair.
Because he's one of these guys that pretends he doesn't really need a cell phone.
Or does he answer a text?
Right.
For hours.
Hours, right.
Hours
if I called
and
Eddie's,
hours.
if Eddie was home and I called his cell phone, I got no shot of reaching him.
Sounds about right.
He's still trying to distance himself from technology.
You know what you need? A roommate.
Life alert.
Oh, come on. What are you, 90?
I've cut my finger off and I can't get up.
He's such a jackass.
So you don't think there's anything fishy with Brandon Nimmo?
I personally
Fishy,
I really
fishy.
don't. But, if you told me that there was, I guess I would. I'm not shocked at anything anymore. But to me, he doesn't seem to be that type. Is there anything scandalous in Brandon Nimmo's life?
No. But it is weird that he runs down the first base when he walks.
It's hustle. It's good.
Like he's energetic.
That's him.
So an energetic man doesn't faint.
You know what I like? He's never changed.
He changed last night, Jerry. He's got a big gash on his forehead.
You know he's been mocked for that.
For running down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
I do like that. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. And he's another one who has really hit the baseball of late. That's why when I saw he was out of the lineup last night, my first thought was, here we go. 3-game losing streak. He's not there. And, it wasn't the case. So, I don't know. I came away. I saw Sal tweet something about, you can't take this team seriously till they fix the bullpen. I agree with him to a certain extent, especially with the way Sunday went. And Saturday, by the way. And last night was not good. But at the end of the day, they did win the game. They did get back to 500. They did what they needed to do. And I thought there was a lot to like from last night, as opposed to being all negative on what the bullpen is. The bullpen is in shambles until Diaz gets back, which will help. They need to make moves to get some arms in here because you're not going to win anything with with the Matt Festas and the Tyler Jays if they're going to play a big part.
So why don't we make these starters go like 8 innings?
Well, that would be
rule.
That would be pitch count. And I agree with you that they took David Peterson out last night with a low pitch count, and I would have left him in. The whole lefty-righty thing, the hell with that. I would have left him in. He was pitching really well. But that's not the game anymore. It all comes from upstairs.
No, but if your team stinks in the
I agree.
In the bullpen, you go, you know what? Starters 8 innings.
Or how about this? 120 pitches.
Whichever comes first.
If you're pitching well and you're pitching free and easy, and like if you look at last night's game, all right, they're down 2-0. David Peterson is pitching fine, and he's doing the job. You're short in the bullpen with arms that you don't have. I'm with you. I would extend it a little bit. I don't think throwing 120 pitches once in a while makes that big a deal, personally, but that's me. I've never been into this pitch count.
When's this Diaz coming back?
Well, it was a 10-game suspension, so we've got to be, 4 games into it?
Still got
like
6
that?
more games?
Well, and that's why what we were talking about yesterday, that it's not fair if a starting pitcher gets suspended for 10 days, he misses 1 start. reliever misses 10, like legitimately misses 10 games.
Fleeg says he comes back Saturday.
Right. So that's about right. Yeah.
What's today?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday,
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 5 more
And
days.
this is a 4-game series with the Nationals, so it's not like you have Thursday off. Like you're playing every day this week, and you lose him every day.
I hate watching the game when the Mets play the Nationals. They have such weird camera angles.
That's
It's
because,
so high up.
as Keith and Gary told you about 6 times last night
Yeah.
during the game, it's the highest press box in baseball, and they're like miles away from the field. Even Howie has done that before. No, I think everybody that goes there complains about the sight lines because they're so far up. But yes, that's where the camera is. I was there once and it rained.
You went to go watch a game.
You remember that?
You
yeah.
commuted down there.
Yep,
You got there, it got rained out, you drove home.
correct.
It's a little bit of a
Kind of sucked.
couple hours round trip.
Well, the way we made a whole day of it, but yes, that was a big waste of time. We saw batting practice.
That was worth the trip.
We saw batting practice and then a monsoon, and then turned around and came.
How long does it take to get to Nationals Park?
From my house, it was just under 4 hours. It was like 3:55.
So what's closer? I want to go to see
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore by about an hour, I would say, significantly closer.
What would take you longer, Jerry? Getting to Mets Nationals in Washington, D.C.
Or City Field.
Yeah, Mets Nationals at City Field.
I'm still going to say City Field is shorter, but you never know what you're. Come on, as much as City Field and getting to Queens is not easy, it's never taken me 4 hours. It hasn't. I would say the worst ride there was maybe 3 hours, maybe, and that's even pushing it.